I know, but my weight is maintaining, which is blowing my mind.
Because you're jacked, dude.
Well, like today I got 255. I was almost at 10 times, dude. I was
10 reps.
I was so
I can't
close.
even rep 225.
I got 9.5 and I was on the half and Carson's there and he had his earbuds in. I'm like, help. And he didn't hear me. He's like, come on. I'm like, no. Help. I'm like, it's coming back down. All of a sudden Carson had to do a big push, but it's all good. All right.
Oh, I just recorded all that. All right, folks, in today's video, we're going to talk about the myths surrounding North Idaho. Now, we've done a winter myths video. This is not that video. We are coming at you with all of the myths that you'll hear about North Idaho. We're gonna put them to bed today. So stick around. We've got a ton of great information. Let's go. Hey, our team, we get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you trying to learn more about North Idaho. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, tap the notifications bell. That'll keep you up to date on all of our latest content. We put out a lot of content. Be sure to check out our podcast as well. And remember, if you're looking to move right now or 12 months from now, give us a call, text, or email. It's never too soon. We'd love to get that conversation started ASAP. All right, myth number one. It is always snowing in North Idaho. Dave, what say you?
Yeah. No, it's not always snowing. Here's the thing. We're just like anywhere else, man. We have seasons. I mean, when you start throwing in El Nino and La Nina and all these different things, we'll have very different winters. I've been up here now. This will be my 6th winter. I would say about 50%, about 3 of them have had very heavy snowfall. The other 3, including this one right now, we haven't even seen snow and we're now into December. I have seen snow as early as October, and I think it was 2 years ago. We had a November that it was white from November to March. I'd never seen that much snow.
Yeah, we've also had snow into June, so It really varies quite a bit.
And I think it's, everybody does think that just because you move north that you were just going to live in the snow. I mean, they compare it to Alaska. It is not like that. We really have, I'd say on average every year, we probably have 2.5 months, maybe even 2, to be completely honest, where there's some good snow. I mean, January and February are usually our 2, and then it depends. Sometimes it'll come a little earlier. Sometimes it'll push into March. But the truth be told, I think January and February are really your snowy months up here.
Yeah, we average about 40 to 60 inches a year. Obviously, that depends on your elevation and things like that. But if you're talking about the Coeur d'Alene area, that will be your average, somewhere in that range. So not overwhelming. They're pretty good about plowing the streets up here. Pretty good. Downtown actually gets pretty weird.
It does, but you know what? The thing is that life just kind of goes on. Schools still stay open. I'll see kids riding their bikes in the snow to school.
In a t-shirt.
And one thing that's, a lot of people ask are like, man, well, what happens if they get overwhelmed and the plows can't keep up? The county, at least Kootenai County, has what's called an all plow. There's a lot of people signed up on this list. So people that live in residential neighborhoods can sign up on this list that have plowing capabilities. And they'll sign up and they'll be given a few streets or a certain neighborhood that if an all plow goes out, meaning we got really heavy snow in the county or the cities can't keep up with it, then all these people get paid and they go out and they start plowing like crazy. So all of a sudden you'll have, instead of 30 plows on the road, you'll have 200 plus plows. I mean, people take care of it pretty good.
I literally did not know that.
Well, you should watch our videos.
I learned something today. All plow.
All right. The second myth about North Idaho is that everybody up here lives rural in a log cabin. Seth?
That's a stretch. We have every type of housing imaginable up here. You've got super high-end luxury waterfront homes. You've got super high-end ski slope side luxury homes up at Schweitzer. You've got neighborhoods, condos, townhomes, all of the stuff is here. Obviously, you can find that log cabin in the woods on 20 acres if you want. But like I said, it's all here. I'd say, the majority of people probably live in neighborhoods up here and kind of have that very traditional neighborhood feel that you might be used to wherever you're coming from.
Yeah, there's also a lot of really like high-end modern homes up here too. So you see a lot of that. And then when it comes down to log homes, don't shy away from log homes. There are some builders up here, up in Bonner's Ferry. There is Caribou Creek. Now I sold a Caribou Creek custom log home on 5 acres that overlooked the lake. It was I'm not a log home fan. But I will tell you that the difference between what you think of a log home versus these high-end custom homes that are hand-hewn logs, the chinking is amazing. I mean, they are incredible. It feels like you're at, what is it, like at a resort, a lodge.
A lodge,
yeah. That's what it feels like. So definitely log homes, but not the majority up here at all.
There's something about a log home. They're a pain. My parents had one for years, and there's a lot of maintenance involved in them. Yep. I could go on and on about log homes. Our buddy Nate, Schaefer Log Homes. That's his family's business.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Mm-hmm. There you go. Homes. There you go. They're here. Hey, hunters and fellow meat eaters. Do you want 100% success rate of putting meat in your freezer this year? Then buy beef from Acme Acres. It's pasture-raised, grass-fed, grass-finished, no hormones, no antibiotics, just delicious, clean, all-American beef raised right here in North Idaho. Order right off the website or give them a call to get going on your custom cut sheet. And if you buy a whole beef, you get a free freezer. Acme Acres. All right, next myth. North Idaho is all wilderness and no civilization.
Yeah, no. So, it is pretty neat. We have so much national forest up here, state land, everything else. It is so easy to get lost in the mountains up here. People love coming to Idaho because they think of that. They think of wilderness and hunting and recreation and being able to get out. But that is not all Idaho. In fact, the greater Coeur d'Alene region, all the way up to Sandpoint, is getting pretty dense, actually. We kind of sit in a valley down here. And I talk about this, like, I don't know how much growth potential there is because you run into mountains in just about every direction other than over into Spokane. So, really, it's not wilderness. We really do have a very good, civilization here. I mean, you got everything that you need. You got an international airport. You got a private airport. You got, all the shopping you need, all the goods, the Costco's, everything else like that. So you don't feel like you're out in the wilderness when you're in Coeur d'Alene. We'll talk about isolation in a bit, but yes, there is a ton of wilderness. And yeah, if you leave Coeur d'Alene, you can find yourself out in the middle of nowhere for days on end.
Yeah, we get the shopping question quite a bit. For the guys, it's like, are there gun shops? Can I get ammo? Yeah. We can get all that here. Tons. You head over to Black Sheep and you can buy a pallet of ammo if you want. And then for the ladies, that was a very sexist remark. I'm sorry. There is shopping as well downtown. Counseled myself.
There's a lot of boutiques here in town. There's a lot of boutiques. My wife has no problem finding places to shop.
Yes.
She owned a boutique before. But as for if you're looking for the big chain stores, you don't see as much of that. I think it's a lot more boutique up here.
Right. You can pop over the border into Washington if you're feeling so inclined.
You want to go to Dillard's?
There's a mall over in Spokane Valley. So, if you need to get the mall experience, I hate malls, but, kids like it, I guess. So you can pop over there. You can head into downtown Spokane and you might find some more high-end shopping. You got to dodge a few zombies on the way, but that's available too. Honestly, I thought I'd go over there more than I do. I'd never go to Spokane, unfortunately, but, it's accessible and it's only 30 to 40 minutes away from Coeur d'Alene. So
yep,
it's there if you need it.
Not all wilderness, but we got a lot of it.
Yep.
Myth number 4, Idaho is completely isolated.
Some true, some not true, right? We are sort of geographically isolated, due to mountain ranges, things like that. So yes, that's somewhat true. When we talk about accessibility to, say, an airport, we're very fortunate there. We have Spokane International Airport, only 30 to 45 minutes away, depending on where you're at in North Idaho here in the Coeur d'Alene area. So yes and no, right? You do have a little bit. You can certainly feel very isolated if you end up in the right property and you're a little bit outside of town, but you still have access to all of these things. And Coeur d'Alene, I should also mention, has a great hospital here. So, you don't need to go super far to find those amenities that you might be looking for. So I'd say the isolation is here if you want it, but it's also not here if you don't want it.
Yeah, the fact that you can get out in the airport is really good. But I will say, if you look at the region as a whole, pretty much encompassing Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, if you leave that area, you're driving. I mean, to get to Seattle is 5 hours, to get to the edge of Seattle and that part of Western Washington. And then the other way, I mean, it's a good 3 hours to Missoula. And Missoula is really isolated. I mean, it's pretty much on its own. And then if you head south all the way to Boise, then you're talking 7 hours. So there is some of that isolationism up here, which is pretty good. It keeps things regional, keeps things local. And I think it plays out well, actually.
Yeah.
I like it.
Me too. Next up. I don't remember what number, honestly. We're going forward. The population is unfriendly. Is it unfriendly, Dave?
Listen, if you say that Idaho, North Idaho specifically, is unfriendly, you have not been here. I'll refer back to a podcast we had with Truk recently, and it's called Is Idaho Racist? She actually reached out to us. Truk is a Vietnamese refugee that came over here after the Vietnam War. She gave us her whole story. It's on her podcast. It's phenomenal. And, she moved up here 8 months ago now. And Truk actually wanted to come on our podcast and talk about the racism and everything else that North Idaho supposedly has and whether or not it's a friendly place, she came up here and she will tell you this is one of the friendliest places around. People up here, and maybe that's part of the isolationism, but people up here love to get to know you. You can't walk downtown without somebody, starting a conversation or asking where you're from, or even sitting down next to you at a table and like I said, just striking up a conversation. So people up here, I think, are very friendly. I think it's just the few.
There is a very, very vocal minority. Sounds similar to politics, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they like to say, in fact, I guarantee they will comment on this video, Idaho is full, don't come here, blah, blah, blah. That whole I'm so tired of it, to be honest with you. It's a very vocal minority. You will not run into that person. It's very unlikely. I think I have a growing feeling that it's just a bunch of keyboard warriors out there who like to talk smack. But
shots fired.
Well, I'm honestly tired of it. I can slightly understand where they're coming from, right? There's some locals here that, they've grown up here. Home prices have gone up tremendously, and a lot of people can't afford to live here anymore, right? I get it. I do. But what they don't realize, and I think this is the misconception, they seem to think that the people that are moving here are super liberal and are bringing their policies that they voted for in other states and are going to come here and change it that way. The reality is Idaho is becoming more red. If you look at the influx of population, they tend to vote traditionally more conservative than Idaho has been. So there you go.
We only had one county, and it wasn't Ada County. It wasn't even for Boise. There was one county just to the east of Boise that voted blue this year. Only one. And I think Oklahoma was the only state that voted, every single county voted red.
Damn, Oklahoma beat us.
Yeah. Now people have said we need to turn Idaho into Oklahoma.
Let's go. We just got one county to go. We can do that.
Yeah.
So the point is, ignore the vocal minority. I think there's always that element of people out there that are just negative in life, and they're going to be upset and sad about everything. So, ignore that. Know that the population is extremely friendly. And, we are very vocal about this. The people that tend to call us are very conservative and are flinging policies that they do not vote for in other states and they don't want to be a part of. And that's okay. Like, you can move here and you can find a safe haven. Our only big ask is that you don't come here and try to change it like where you come from. I don't think you're that person. So I'm not super worried about it, but that's something we do like to put out there in the open for everyone to hear.
Yep.
You don't read the comments.
I need to have a comment day where I can read everything.
I need to get you like a Xanax before we do it.
Now give me some whiskey.
Oh boy.
Let's go. All right. The next myth about North Idaho is this me?
Yeah.
Is this you?
You can ask me.
Is that there's nothing to do.
I have had that question. Hey, if I'm not real outdoorsy, is Idaho a good fit? Yeah, it can be a good fit, right? It is very predominantly outdoorsy. I'm not going to lie, but there's a million things to do up here. We've got indoor water parks, several of them. I guess I'm going to tap into the outdoor stuff, but obviously you've got 5 ski resorts within an hour and a half. Paddleboarding. T-shirts coming soon. I hate paddleboarding. You guys know that. It's stupid. Inefficient. Don't get me going, Dave. Damn it.
All right, things to do.
But as far as outdoor stuff, it is predominantly outdoorsy. So yes, if you're not outdoorsy, you can find things to do. But in reality, if you are outdoorsy, this place is specifically geared for you. Every imaginable outdoor sport you can find here and in abundance. Idaho is 60% public land, so it is 10 minutes from town. You can be in the Coeur d'Alene National Forest, and you can literally go all the way to Montana in that national forest, and side-by-sides, dirt bikes, mountain bikes, hiking, hunting, fishing, whatever, it's here.
So I'm going to disagree with Seth a little bit on this, in the fact that there are a lot of things to do, but I do, and like you brought up, a lot of those things really are outdoors. The people that I saw move out of Idaho over the past year that moved up here during the C word, okay, during 2020 and 2021, you see that?
Yeah, good job.
I'm censoring myself. The people that moved up here during that time because Idaho looked really attractive and they moved their families up here and then they left. There's quite a few people from California and other states that moved up here that left in the past year because they said there's nothing to do. Look, if you're coming from places like a big city like California, okay, you will think about this. You pay for a lot of your entertainment. You pay to go to the trampoline parks. You pay to go to the movies. You pay to go to Disneyland. You pay to go to sporting events. You pay to do all this stuff. Idaho doesn't have that necessarily. Okay, so you have to find other things to do. If you are afraid to go outside in the winter and go snowshoeing, go out in the springtime, look for morels, do shed hunting, ski, snowboard. If you're afraid of those things during the winter months, you are going to struggle in North Idaho. Those are things that you have to be good with. You have to be willing to throw on some warm clothes and get outside. There is a lot to do. There's a lot of programs, there's a lot of schools, there's a lot of just events that you can do outside. But if you don't embrace that, Idaho may not be the right place for you, because most of the things to do up here, I think really do, they really do happen outside.
See, I guess I've never personally lived in a place where I didn't have access to outdoor stuff. So I don't understand that way of thinking. So when people ask me that, I'm like, yeah, there's tons of to do, just like outside. Just do shit outside.
It takes a lot of effort, but I mean, I spent so much money going to Disneyland, going to places, get paid entertainment, right? Stuff, yeah. Right. But up here, I mean, I spend way less money, but you have to be willing to jump on your bike and ride downtown and go have dinner down there and go to the lake and go to the beaches. And you have to do those things. You have to be active.
So apparently, if you're not outdoorsy, there is nothing to do.
There you go.
All right. Last, this is a big one. This is like the myth about North Idaho. I hear this all the time. People reach out and they have this question: is North Idaho racist? Dave?
No. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to straight say no. If you have watched Daily Wire's Matt Walsh, Am I Racist? It's his newest documentary. He goes into a bar and he's talking to a few, like some bikers, right? He walks in there and he's like, how are you, eliminating your whiteness? And they're like, the hell are you talking about? And you see the people in there just overcome, like, hey man, we're brothers, sisters, doesn't matter what you look like. That is very much the throwback for North Idaho. People up here do not care what your background is. That is totally, in fact, I would love to see more diversity up here, but here's the facts. People don't care. They care if you're a good person. They care if you contribute. They care if you have a good attitude. Those things will help you find the people that don't like you up here. If you come up with a bad attitude, you're not happy, you want to throw these things out, then people will not like you. You're not helpful. You're not involved in the community. People have a tendency to struggle there. But as for racism, I just don't see it up here. I refer back to our podcast with Truk. I'm not a person of ethnic origin. Okay. I'm a white male. All right. I'm the whatever that is. But I don't feel like that's what it is up here. And I have a lot of friends that have ethnic background and everything else, people that have alternate lifestyles that are different than mine. And I don't see the lack of acceptance in this area at all.
You forgot the heterosexual part. White heterosexual male.
White heterosexual.
That is questionable with you sometimes, to be honest with you.
I guess.
That myth comes from some reality, yes.
Absolutely.
So that's where you'll hear it, right? There was and I'm going to get my facts wrong, chill out there, keyboard warriors. But there was a white supremacist compound in late 90s, early 2000s in the Hayden Lake area. It was bulldozed to the ground and they were run out of town. You will see no remnants of that in town. I've never seen anyone marching around. I've never heard anything.
Nor will the people up here tolerate that shit.
No.
At all.
No.
Nobody wants that around.
Exactly. You have a community that honestly is probably a majority retired cops. And no, cops aren't racist. Stop it. If you think that, go away. And veterans and just people that are patriotic, love their country. For all of them, they're not going to tolerate that crap, right? We didn't tolerate that crap when we were cops and firefighters. It's just not a reality. So if that's your reality, it's not the reality. Fix yourself. Thank you guys for sticking around for our ramblings. Hopefully you got some good information out of this. Tried to hit on some of the big myths, and these are a lot of the questions we get to when people reach out to us, right? They'll send us an email, text, call, whatever. And these questions come up a lot. So we like to touch on them and really help find the truth in them and see what is reality and what is not reality, because it's important information for a lot of families who are considering the move up here. And, we do provide great information, and I'd like to believe we're mildly entertaining. But the reality is our day job and how we feed our families is through real estate. So if you are thinking about moving, if you're thinking about a new build, don't you call that builder, you call us. We can represent you in that as well. We do it all the time. We are one of the highest producing teams up here in North Idaho as far as real estate. So we do the job well. I'm tooting my own horn, I know, but that's the reality of it. And we would love to have your back on that transaction as well. So give us a call, text, or email. to it. Nothing.
Bye.
Later.